Round 8 of the Tata Steel Masters. We're well into the second half of the tournament and it's just wide open. So I'm going to look at the game between Alireza Firouzja and Liren. Neither player having an easy time. In the last round, Firouzja blundered horribly and lost a game against Vidit. He overlooked one move and that was the end of the game basically. And Liren, well, clearly he's struggling to find form after a long layoff. Right, Firouzja opened with d4. Not unusual for him. However, in this tournament he's been opening with e4. So who knows, maybe that threw Ding a little bit. So far all very normal. Well, this could go into a Queen's Gambit with Bishop e7, Slav, c6, all kinds of things possible, but c5. The semi-Tarrasch. e3. So all very symmetrical so far. The players holding the tension. Now you can go a6 here, but Ding preferred to exchange on c4. And this leads us back into a Queen's Gambit accepted. Black wants to push with b5. Well, Ding himself with white has played Bishop d3 here in the celebrated game in which he defeated Nakamura in the last round of the candidates in 2022. He played Bishop d3. But Bishop a2 from Firouzja. And after b5, he played this tricky move, Queen c2. An unusual move, but obviously there is some pressure on the c file that could be interesting. And as we'll see later on, it does allow rook to come to d1 very quickly. But it is a very unusual move. It looks a little bit strange. I mean, normally one would just castle. Firouzja has played this once before. And clearly this threw Ding. He thought for 17.5 minutes in this position. C takes d4. E takes d4. Now, very interesting moment in the game. What happens if black takes? Well, this is how Firouzja's game against Nepo went from St. Louis in 2022. And after this move, well, all hell broke loose there, basically. Fascinating position. I won't dive into that now, but clearly that's what Ding was concerned about. And he really hadn't prepared this. Bishop b7. Okay, that's a much calmer move, of course. There's no need to plunge into the complications. d5. Really interesting pawn sacrifice. Of course, one doesn't need to do this. You could just protect the pawn. E takes d5. And bishop g5. Well, white's pieces look pretty good. Bishop e7 and rook d1. So there we go. It makes use of the queen coming to c2, and the queen is on a very nice square looking down these two avenues. And white's pieces look superb. Very difficult position for black to play. You know, do you just castle and allow this pawn to be taken? Looks really risky. d4 played by Ding. Firouzja just castled, likewise Ding, and rook e1. Wow, look at white's pieces. They're all beautifully posted, really, really active. You know, connected rooks. Compare with black's pieces, you know, this bishop is under fire. The rooks aren't yet connected because the queen hasn't moved. This bishop looks fantastic. Really tough position for black. Okay, so here's my question for you. If you were playing black here, how would you play? So, Oliver Slurpety, you have a think. Black to move, what would you do? Cheers. I should say that Ding thought for almost 25 minutes here. And, well, his move wasn't too bad. It's very unpleasant. I mean, my first thought would be to bring the queen out. That's clearly the problem. It's opposite white's rook here, but it's not easy. You know, if you play, for example, queen b6, then white can take, throw the knight in, attacking that one, so the queen has to come back. Queen f5, you just want to double the pawns, among other things. You know, there's also threats to bring this bishop back to hit h7. That would actually be winning. I mean, black is already struggling here. Very difficult defensive task. So queen b6 isn't satisfactory. You could play queen d6. Again, you're just trying to connect the rooks. But knight e2, and you're going to scoop up that pawn, and you know, is black's queen in a good position? It's such a difficult position. Ding played b4. But if you found that one, well done. I wouldn't say it's an obvious move. And well, the machines actually think that knight e2 is the best move, but bishop b1, as played by Firouzja, is incredibly dangerous. So the threat is just to take on f6 and deliver mate on h7. So black has to play g6, but oof, what a move. I mean, just leaves these pieces very sensitively placed. And after quite a big think, Firouzja took on e7, took off that dark squared bishop that's protecting all these squares around the king. So if queen takes, knight d5, and this is just winning. Nasty pin, and black's king is in massive trouble. So knight takes e7 forced. Rook takes pawn, hits the queen. And here Ding blundered. Incredibly, black is still okay here. Again, what would you play? It's funny, I was lauding Ding's defensive play before the start of the tournament when I did the book review with Davorin Kuliasevich on his new book, Ding's Best Games. And Davorin was saying, yeah, Ding, brilliant calculator, and that allows him not just to attack, but also he defends brilliantly. But here he got it badly wrong. Black has to play knight d5. And then it's still really complicated. I mean, it looks amazing for white with this beautiful dark squared bishop. But, for example, after this, and then you can take here. So white has bishop and knight against a rook, but black has a lot of activity here. You could take here immediately. You can also play rook d8 to exchange this off. Weak back rank, and actually black is all right there. Black is probably going to be able to swipe this pawn, or just has enough activity basically. After this move, you could also, as white, you could just take here and just hold the position. That's very, very interesting. In any case, that's the only move. Ding played queen c7 after about a 6-minute think, and he must have overlooked the next move, knight e4. Attacking the queen, attacking f6, and after queen takes c2, knight takes f6 check, very important, Zwischenschach, and then bishop takes. So again, we've got a situation with two minor pieces, bishop and knight, against a rook. But this is very different to the position we just looked at, because white still has the two bishops. There's still play against black's king, actually. For example, after h6, you can throw in knight h5 check and take on e7. And actually, white is fine here. White is able to coordinate, and there isn't a problem on the back rank. That square is covered. So rook c8, okay, you've got to be careful. Hits the bishop, and watch out here. But a great move from Firouzja. He plays knight g4, threatening bishop f6 and knight h6 mate. So knight g8 takes the knight away from the threat of the bishop and of course covers these dark squares, but not the most active piece. Bishop b3, just stepping out of trouble. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Rook c3. So Ding is trying to somehow upset White's coordination while the back rank is weak and hit some loose pieces. But actually White can hold everything together. Rook b4, good move. Defends the bishop, but also sort of gains a tempo as well. You know, if, let's see, rook c8, okay, threatening something down here, then knight e1. Actually, that's pretty solid. Okay, rook takes bishop threatened, bishop goes back, bishop d2, pushing the rook back, f3. So you can see White is able to coordinate. And once the pieces are all protected, then with the two bishops, that's a winning position, basically. So after rook b4, instead, Ding played bishop takes knight and grabbed a pawn. So he's now got rook and pawn against the two bishops. But this is a problem. That rook is now stuck. And there's no way out here. Simply king g2 threatened. h6 played. King g2 is possible, but this is even better because it wins. Yeah, well, wins the rook, but yeah, black doesn't gain any more pawns basically. So the rook is trapped. Rook takes pawn, and now instead of taking here, you throw in another Zwischenschach or Zwischenzug or in-between move. King takes, and this is just a technically winning position. It's bishop against a pawn. White is a piece up, and this, well, I mean, this could have been called off here, but Ding continued. He's going through the 5 stages of grief, basically. Not yet accepted his fate, but this is very simple. I mean, White just needs to keep one of these pawns, which he managed to do, and scoop up the a-pawn. And here Ding resigned. Okay, this one is going, and then you can check the king back and slowly advance, and completely winning for White. So a curious game actually. Ding just got caught out, but he certainly is looking ring rusty. However, clever opening choice from Firouzja to switch to d4, and using some of his old preparation to catch out Ding. A really, really tricky line. Well, what's going on after 8 rounds? It is wide open. 3 players sharing the lead on 5. Gukesh, Giri and Firouzja. 4 players on 4.5. 2 players on 4 out of 8. I mean, really, any of those players with 5 rounds to go can still win the tournament. Abdusatorov, really bizarre. Yesterday he played this godlike positional game and won beautifully against, hang on, who did he... I'm losing my mind at the moment. He defeated Giri, of course. Today he lost to Nepo, and Nepo outplayed him in a similar way. Good knight against bad bishop. Absolutely bizarre. I mean, these results in the tournament, there are so many ups and downs. It's extraordinary. I mean, really very hard to predict what's going to happen. Monday is a free day in Vaikonze, and we'll see what happens after that. If you're not a subscriber, do subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you want to support us, there's the button for PayPal, or support us via Patreon. Thanks for watching.